Okay, welcome. So in this episode, I'm going to try to do a total walkthrough of what you need to do in order to have a purpose-driven content platform. Whether you're doing that for your blog or you're doing that for your YouTube channel, so that you have a well-structured content environment that will be resilient to any algorithm update that would actually meet the search intentions of audience. And if you're serious about content creation as a business, for example, aka blogging for business, so you need to follow this process. Yes, I want you to see artificial intelligence as a tool, and a tool is only as powerful as the knowledge of the user following particular procedures. There are tons of tools out there that does wonderfully well in whatever space they they flourish or that they function. But however, Woneassistant does content creation from a distinct perspective, in the sense that it tries to make sure that the content it is creating, it is purpose driven. So what do we mean? So we pick on a keyword here that we're going to start with. Log into your Woneassistant, and the first place I want you to come into when you want to start writing any content or creating any content as it is come to the SEO tool area. When you come into the SEO tool area, it brings you here, and the first thing you want to do with the keyword that you have, the one single keyword or key phrase that you have. For example, people would always want to target the finance niche, which of course is one of those niche that I would say avoid it as much as possible. But of course, because of the reward it tends to bring, people have their eyes on it, which is that is one of the niche that Google tags as the YMYL, your money or your life niche. So you need to be sensitive with it, meaning the kind of content you need to create in this space needs to be top notch. So just click on the keyword expander here, or the key phrase expander. So once you do that, it will bring you to this interface, and you put in the key phrase you want to use or the keyword as it is. Once you put it there and you tell it to generate text, what it will do is it will expand that key phrase out for you and narrow down more into the key phrase to give you more view into that phrase. So when you're saying insurance, what are those things that are connected with insurance? So you have often the not you have this nine phrase that has given to us. So what I've gone ahead to do is rearrange those phrases down here with the master phrase, which is insurance. I've simply only removed this numbering because where we're going next, we don't need the numbering, which is the Google Keyword Planner in itself. So we'll lift this 10 keywords in order that we're able to break this insurance niche down more so that we are able to pick the keywords. If you try to target insurance as a word on its own, it might be too competitive and you might not be able to get your content to rank or even be able to break into that niche at all. So you need to dive down deep into it and not at the surface level. So you could use any keyword research tool that you're familiar with, but there is none that scratches the power of Google's Keyword Planner. So it does something different that the rest of them don't do. Not SCMrush, not Ahref, not none of them does what this does if you know how to use it. So I have Google Keyword Planner open here. The key phrase you're just looking at is what I've already copied and pasted here right now. So I'm just simply going to search on it. So Google Keyword Planner is going to analyze the 10 key phrase that we're working with earlier, which are this 10 key phrase that we copied from here into the Google Keyword Planner, and we only put it here if you can remember. So we tell it to get us result, and Google says it has gotten us 4,000, close to like 5,000 key phrase. ideas that we could work with, so which is awesome. So from one keyword, as you can see, which is the insurance, we're able to expand it into 10 keywords, and we brought the 10 keywords into Google Keyword Planner. Why did we do this? We need to be able to give Google context. This is exactly what we're talking about, that we're looking for. So I have all the keywords here that Google is saying, okay, so if you're looking for things around insurance, and we've given Google better context with what we've done from the Woneassistant. So that is why it's able to give us this. So we have all this. So you could arrange them in this manner. So Google tells us these are all the keywords. So I don't pick from here and start writing. I would advise you don't do so as well. So pretty much I would simply export it by clicking on this area here. I'll say download, and it downloads the file for me and opens it in a CSV file. So I already gone ahead and done that. So I've simply downloaded the file, and I'm only filtering it, or rather, let me just do that again for those who don't know what it is I've done. Okay, so this is the same file again. So I'm going to open it up. Yeah, I know some other people like to work from Google Docs, but I think I prefer working in Microsoft Excel. I find it rather easy. So this is the file we've just downloaded. So I'm going to do just some basic cleanup. These two first row that will always come with is date and all the rest of them, and I don't need it. This column B, which is the currency to which it appears, I don't need it. These other columns from I all the way to Z, I don't need it. It's empty, so there's nothing I'm doing with it. So I'm going to expand out this set of ones that I need so that I'm able to see them better. So here they are. So in order for me to be able to filter this about 5,000 keywords, what I'll do is click on the first row here, which is keyword, and I'll come to this section here and I'll select filter. This area at the top here, if you can see my mouse towards the top right hand side of your screen. So I would click on here and say filter. So it automatically gives me filter box up here so I can filter. So the first set of filter I like to do is remove keywords that have high competition from it. So I'll click on this drop down arrow here and I'll say remove I, remove mid, and remove the ones that are not unknown, the ones that are unknown. Now Google says they are unknown because there is no sufficient data, so that's why that is it. So now it has done some filter and cleanup. So the only things I have here are keywords that are low keyword difficulty. But however, I would fine tune that more by ensuring that I'm not going after any keyword that has negative value, meaning by trend is going down. So I will come to the year in year out metrics here, and I'll remove everything that has negativity in it. So I will remove, so I can leave anything 0% and all the rest of them, but once it has negative, I'll get rid of it. So I'll remove. I'll come to the quarterly as well. I'll remove anything that has negative. I can leave the ones that are 0. Now also I would also cross check the average monthly to ensure that there's none that is negative here. So once I have this, I feel I'm fine. Then of course I would also come to the bid, and I like to make sure that yes, fine, content that I'm writing actually are of value. So I would also scroll down and remove anything that is blank. So I don't want it to be blank. It must at least have some commercial value. So now these are the key phrase that I have left now out of like about 5,000. So what I have left right now on my screen is about 2,000. So we've gotten rid of like about 3,000 keywords already in cleanup, which is good. So often than not, I like to filter this way, and I'll say, give me sort it from the highest to the lowest with respect to the minimum lowest bid. This would in turn give me the keyword based on the most valuable when it comes to how much people are willing to bid the lowest. So it tells me that this is the keyword that tops the chart. Beautiful. So I can pick on this keyword because now this is what I want to write on. Now it simply means I can write on all those keywords here. But first, let's start with the first keyword here. So I'll pick on this keyword and I'll go back into my Woneassistant. So we're back into Woneassistant. Remember, this is where we left off. So now I would pick on the keyword that we brought from the Excel and I'll post it here and I'll tell Woneassistant, I need you to give me the audience. If you don't know how to access the audience in Woneassistant, you're able to do that once you come into the SEO area and say, give me the audience. I want it to detect the audience that is searching for that very key phrase. So that is why we're here, the same feed. So once you put in your keyword, so just tell it to generate, it will identify for you all the audience that are searching for the keyword. Remember, Google's primary goal is to give relevant, valuable content to the audience that is searching on Google. Now, understand what I've just said in that phrase. Each time someone comes to Google, that person definitely has a profile. There is something about that person with respect to his digital footprint. So, Google has categorized them. But of course, these are informations you don't see on any search engine. So, it tells us, Woneassistant tells us, okay, so one of the people looking for this key phrase is our small business owners. Another set of people are entrepreneurs and startup. Another one is insurance brokers and agency, legal professionals, and the list goes on. So it has given us this information, which is very, very invaluable. If you write a content without targeting that content to a particular audience, if you do not write it to a particular audience, what you're writing is to nobody. So, which simply in turn ensures that the content really don't have a relevance because it doesn't have a target. Now, we have our audience, we have our key phrase, so we'll save it. Now, in Woneassistant, you're able to save your work in this panel by clicking on Save Here by giving it a name. You give it a name here and save it so that once you come back, you can always find your files on that document here. So I have the audience that are searching for this key phrase. The next thing I want to do with the audience searching for the key phrase is for each of these audience, I want to know what is their search intention for this keyword, for this key phrase. Bear in mind, we have other audience. Each of these audience, they have their own search intentions. So that my content is very narrowed, is very spot on, is very targeted, which would give me better ranking and better indexing in Google, and in turn overall give me domain authority, which is very key. I need to make sure that when I'm writing on a key phrase, it is for a particular audience and is meeting a particular search intention of that audience. So I'm going to show you how to get the audience search intention. So on your primary dashboard of Woneassistant, just to go back into template, come into SEO and go to audience search intention. Once you click on that, it will bring you to this interface that will help you detect the audience search intention. So I have my key phrase and I have my audience. So for this very audience searching for this key phrase, what is their search intention? So Woneassistant will detect for me the search intention of the audience. So, meaning to say, for this very audience searching for this key phrase, these are their search intentions that I need to meet. I need to write an article that meets these needs. However, you can further break down your content creation in order to ensure you're getting maximum reach by you further drilling down. For each of this search intention of this audience, for this key phrase, you're able to break it out to having different topics being written for each one of this. Bear in mind, see how far we've come in a few minutes. We've been able to identify the actual audience for the actual key phrase and their search intention. So I will pick on this search intention of this audience searching for this key phrase, and I want to break it out so that I'm able to write multiple content on this one single audience, and each of the content will be distinctively different. So you can save this as well and come back into your Woneassistant area and go to the template area and just come to content. Now, in your content zone, all you need to do is click on title ideas so that you're able to get multiple titles for each search intentions, for each audience, for each key phrase. So, and that is what we now have here. So I've brought in the key phrase, I've put in the audience, and I've put in one of the search intentions. So as you can see that I've done earlier, I already told Woneassistant for this key phrase, for this audience, and for this search intention, give me 10 article titles we could write on, and it gives me this 10 distinct article titles that we could write on. So let's take a pause here and see what we have. What we have here is automatically one single keyword has fetched us 10 article titles. That way you're able to be the domain authority when it comes to insurance liability, business insurance liability, because you're writing all these articles here, this 10 articles for this very audience who have these search intentions in mind. That in turn makes you rank for insurance. Now, for each of this audience, of each of these intentions, you're able to generate 10 targeted titles that is meant for each of them. So I hope you've been able to get a better understanding of how to work with Woneassistant with respect to this. So if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. All right, so let's now build out this. I don't want this video overly too long, but already it's long already. So let me try and just do this next one, then we can call it a quit for now. All right, so I'll pick on the next thing, which is I want to now start writing each of these article. So I'll come into my Woneassistant dash panel, I'll go on the template, and I'll say I want an outline. So an outline, what do you want the outline for? I want the outline for this very title. So you can get an outline for this title, and Woneassistant will do that for me and give me an outline for this very title. So it's going to analyze the title, try to understand what you're trying to do, and give you an outline that is going to be based on all the other metrics that we've covered so far. So now this is the outline. This outline is super targeted. The article that is going to be created with this outline is not second guessing. It's not what One Assistant is doing is not scraping content, is not going even to Google to go and search the top ranking articles. What have they written? So, this is the mistake with that strategy. If you're going to Google to go search for a keyword and now scrape the layout of existing article, bear in mind, Google does not have any allegiance to any one of those content. Google's primary purpose is to give their own audience high value targeted content that meets their search intention. So, what you should target to do is create content that meets the audience search intentions and not an article that is centered around what someone else has written. Yes, you could take inspiration from what others have written, but your primary purpose is to be able to identify the audience, their search intention, and create the content that meets the audience search intentions. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you in the next episode.